What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy FarRock22M, aka Infamous Owen, Infamous_Owen on IG. Nothing crazy. I ain't gonna do too much talking, but just a quick video of me in Bayswater, FarRockaway. Now, a lot of people wonder what's Bayswater. Bayswater is a section of FarRockaway, which is by the bay. It's around the bay, and it's the lower end of FarRockaway. And yeah, so you could take Mott Avenue into Bayswater, 25th Street goes into Bayswater. Yeah, so Bayswater is more of a, I want to say rich part, but it's a richer part of FarRockaway. It's a better area for the most part. You know, very nice to raise your kids, quiet, nice homes. So I'm gonna flip the camera around so you know, just get a little understanding of what I mean. So this is the neighborhood right now. Right now I'm on Hartman, and nice homes, expensive too. So beautiful place to raise your kids, but also don't get it confused. Although Bayswater is a low crime rate area, things still happen over here. You know, you cannot sleep on Bayswater. There has been assaults. People have been shot back here. People have been stabbed back here. People have been robbed back here. Now, murdered, I don't know. I can't sit there and state that 100%, but I'm quite sure somebody's probably been murdered back here too. But it doesn't happen often though. You know, but like I said, you get what you pay for over here. So when you buy one of these nice houses or you move into one of these nice homes, you just know you're gonna move into a lot safer neighborhood. It's gonna be much more quiet, and it's not gonna be much to worry about when you're home. Now, when you come outside your home, you're gonna be using the train stations and bus stops like everybody else. So right now, this is Bessemer. So, you know, you got these private homes that run over here too. So I knew a few people that used to live in these homes over here. They're not really big, but they're nice. I can't tell you if they're expensive or not, but I know. Yeah. So just a little tour. I can't tour the whole Bayswater because Bayswater is pretty big. And in fact, it goes more deep. Pause. You know, when you go down Mott, Bayswater runs like about 1.5 miles long. So, and then we have Far Rock High School. I believe they don't call it Far Rock High School anymore. They call it Frederick Douglass Academy. But this will always be known as Far Rock High School. And in fact, it's etched in stone on front of the building what it is. So to me, it'll always be known as Far Rock. So you know what? Instead of walking down there, because I gotta go to Wavecrest, I'm gonna walk down here, and I'm gonna walk down 25th Street. So yeah, this is Far Rock High School right here. They got their own track and field. This is the football field. I guess soccer field. I don't know, I guess a baseball field also, because I see the baseball field over there, the dugout and stuff. Yeah. And Far Rock has a pool in it. We used to come over here in the summer back in the days and go to the Big Apple games. They used to have that in, I believe, in most high schools, or most, it was a summer program that was in New York City. And then some schools, you know, facilitated programs and things like that. So Far Rock was one of those schools that had the arts and crafts. They had the swimming pool, basketball, all kinds of activities during the summertime in the 90s. And we used to come here and play and hang out. You know what I'm saying? I remember that. Good times, man. I don't know if they really do stuff like that anymore. I'm sure they do, but before, you just needed parents' permission and that's it. And you come here all you want. Yeah, oh, yeah, that was way back in the 90s, man. I ain't gonna lie. The 90s was one of the best eras out here. You know what I'm saying? Like when you growing up, I grew up in the 90s. I was very young in the 90s. So from like 1990, basically I was 5 years old all the way to like 14 in the 90s. So, you know, I grew up in the 90s as a kid. And I'm not gonna lie, man. We always talk about the good times. The best thing about the 90s to me was that it was a community and the music. The music was the best in the 90s. I don't care what nobody says, man. That was like when you hear these old R&B songs, you hear the old R&B rap, and it puts you back to what you was doing, the way you first heard it in the 90s, you know what I'm saying? Especially like them songs that came out in the summertime. You always think about like, damn, man, I had a lot of fun that summer, man. I was doing fun, man. And you know what? Don't get confused. The 90s was great, but there was also some bad stuff in the 90s too. Like, I remember, because like I said, I was young, so I can't tell you what it was like to be a drug dealer, none of that. But like, that was the era where they said the grimy 90s. There was a lot of grimy stuff going on. And, you know, you really had bullies out there. Now, I wasn't a kid getting bullied, but of course I came across them. And most of the bullies I came encountered with, they never like robbed me or extorted me or nothing. They tried, but it ain't happened. But those are the dudes that like play too much, play too rough. You know what I'm saying? Now, of course, I did have other peers that used to get robbed and extorted by the bullies. You know what I'm saying? And you know, it was crazy. But besides that, you know, there was a lot of griminess going on. You know, even back in the days, the grimy dudes even had a different look to them. You know, you knew a grimy dude when you seen it. You know, they got the gold fronts. They talk a little, yo, what's up, son? You ain't son? You know what I mean? Yo, what you got, son? And you got a dollar? You know what I'm saying? Like, that grimy 90s was real. So, you know, you had to be on it. But I appreciated it, though, because it was a little more rough. And on top of that, you had to get your hands dirty. If you was outside and you was, you know, about something, you had to fight. Couldn't just run and go get a gun, because for one, that wasn't really respected like that, especially if it was just over some words. A lot of people wasn't shooting over no words or nothing like that, how they do now. They shoot to get a rep and then feel bad about it later on. Back then, you know, the shooters was like on the bottom of the totem pole, as a matter of fact. Like, when you was known for shooting recklessly for some dumb crap, people ain't want to be around you at all. You know, it's just like you was a liability. You know what I'm saying? You was a liability, because if I was hanging around you, chances are you're a target. Nobody wanted to be around you. Now everybody is scared of the shooter, so they want to be around the shooter. Back then, nah. You doing reckless shit. You can't fight. You can't do none of that. Now, of course, people would pay you to do dumb things, and that's it. So back then, you really had to be physical. You really had to, you know what I'm saying, know how to slap box, know how to fight. You know what I'm saying? What helped me with that back in my day, especially for us kids, we was intrigued by wrestling. So wrestling was it. We used to practice wrestling all the time, practice slap boxing all the time. So eventually, when we was wrestling and shit got real, those wrestling moves turned into the real thing. So it wasn't a thing to fight. Now, people don't want to fight. You know what I'm saying? You got the internet. You fight, you on World Star, people pulling out their phones, and it's hard for people to take a loss. But back then in the 90s, you just had to be there. And if you wasn't there to witness the fight, then you just had to go up for what somebody else says, somebody reliable. But now, it'd be out there for the world to see. For the world to see. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, times is very different. But yeah, so I'm not in Bayswater anymore. Well, I'm still in Bayswater, kinda. You know what I'm saying? But once I cross over this train station, I'll just be considered Rockaway. You know what I'm saying? Instead of Bayswater. Because once you cross this, as Bay 25th. Once you cross, no, excuse me, Beach Channel Drive. You know what I'm saying? Once you cross Beach Channel Drive, it becomes Bay 25th instead of Beach 25th. So yeah, right now I'm at 25. I gotta walk to Wave Crest. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, man, shit was real different around here. They used to have a laundromat over there. That used to be a laundromat. This liquor store was always here. This used to be called Freeway. So, and they always had the Spanish store over there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so, and this is what it is. But, yeah. So like I said, now I'm not in Bayswater. Now I'm on the other side. You see, you got the dirt in the street and all of that. You know, this you see how fast it changes up from suburb to the hood? Real quick. Yeah. So, like I said, you know, it changes real quick. Let me change it up. But yeah, so what I was gonna say is that even in Rockaway, the 90s was different. You know what I'm saying? I remember just, you know, being outside, man, like, you know, like I said, the bullies, it was just different. You know what I'm saying? I lost my train of thought, excuse me. Let me get back on it. But Rockaway was like the best of the 90s, but also it had its bad times. Because I remember even in the 90s in New York, that's when you had the rise of the gangs. So, you know what I mean? We always had gangs out here. That's the problem with, you know, people from other states and other cultures like Chicago and Los Angeles. They be thinking like New York didn't have gangs. We had gangs. We just didn't have the Bloods and the Crips. But we had gangs, you know? And even some of those guys was here for a while. They just wasn't as big as they were now. The name wasn't as big as it is now. But you did have some of those people over here. They just wasn't deep. But middle 90s, like 95, 96, that's when I started seeing that uptick in gangs in FarRockaway. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, we always had gangs. We always had crews. There was always hand signs and special handshakes that for different neighborhoods. So don't get confused when they say, oh no. But they took in that blood and Crip shit out here later on. I guess because they probably seen that it was worth it, or it was just, you know, something profitable, or, you know, it was something to gain out of that. But of course, we all know how the Bloods, you know, came around on 93 on Rikers Island. We know about that. But besides that, you know, we always had gangs in New York. And I remember in the mid-90s, that's when they really started making noise. So there was a lot of things that happened in the 90s that a lot of people ain't used to seeing now. Like, I remember when there used to be wolf packs of people walking in the streets. Like a group of people all the time. Now you see 5 or 6 people walking in a pack. That's gonna look a little, it's gonna look a little strange. It's gonna look like somebody's about to start some trouble. That's the first, you know, thought. But back then, that's what you were seeing. That's all you saw was people in groups, wolf packs. So, but I don't want to get too much into it, you know what I mean? Because the video is really about Bayswater. But I happen to talk about the comparison and things like that in the 90s. So I guess we could just call this video Bayswater and Rockaway in the 90s. I don't know. But make sure y'all like, share, subscribe. You could donate if you want. It's up to you. I'll leave it in the description box. And hit me with the comments. Let me know what y'all think, man. And y'all have a good day. Peace out.